The SpaceX lunar Starship represents a pivotal evolution in human space exploration, serving as the human landing system for NASA's Artemis program. Designed to ferry astronauts from lunar orbit to the moon's surface and back, this variant of the Starship spacecraft embodies Elon Musk's vision for reusable, high-capacity vehicles that could one day enable Mars colonization. However, recent developments at SpaceX's Starbase facility in Texas signal massive plan changes that could reshape the lunar Starship's trajectory. These updates, particularly the shift to Starship version 3, introduce enhanced capabilities, but also introduce uncertainties for NASA's timelines. At its core, the SpaceX lunar Starship is a modified version of the baseline Starship, optimized for lunar operations. It features a taller design to accommodate landing legs, elevators for crew and cargo deployment, and specialized thrusters for precise lunar touchdowns. Unlike the standard Starship, which prioritizes Earth-to-orbit and Mars missions, the lunar Starship must integrate with NASA's Orion spacecraft and the Gateway Station, requiring docking ports compatible with international standards. SpaceX won the Human Landing System contract in 2021 with a $2.9 billion bid, outpacing competitors like Blue Origin. But the program has faced delays due to technical challenges and regulatory hurdles. The most significant plan change revolves around the transition to Starship version 3. Early iterations of Starship, like those tested in flights 1 through 11, focused on proving basic reusability and rapid iteration. Starship version 3, however, promises a leap in performance, stretched tanks for greater propellant capacity, improved Raptor engines, up to 35 on the Super Heavy booster, and structural reinforcements for higher thrust and durability. This upgrade is essential for the lunar Starship, as it enables the orbital refueling required for lunar missions, potentially needing 10 to 15 tanker flights to fill a single human landing system vehicle in low Earth orbit before heading to the moon. Recent updates at Starbase highlight how these changes are materializing. The Massey Test Stand, crucial for cryo-testing and static firing Starship version 3 prototypes like Ship 39, is nearing completion with unevenly spaced clamps and upgraded fire suppression systems to handle post-explosion lessons from earlier tests. The Gigabay factory expansion, with its massive cranes and elevated foundation, aims to accelerate production, turning Starbase into a hub capable of churning out dozens of Starships annually by 2026. Pad 2, the only site equipped for Starship version 3 launches, features armored cladding on the launch mount and a robust deluge system to mitigate plume damage from the increased engine count. These enhancements address past failures, such as the explosive Integrated Flight Test 2 in 2023, by prioritizing reliability. For the lunar Starship specifically, Starship version 3's improvements mean better in-space propulsion efficiency, reducing the number of refueling operations, a key bottleneck. However, the demolition of Pad 1 and reconfiguration of the tank farm underscore a broader shift. SpaceX is phasing out legacy infrastructure to focus on scalable, future-proof designs. This massive plan change isn't just technical. It's strategic, aligning lunar Starship development with Musk's Mars ambitions while fulfilling NASA obligations. Yet, these changes come with trade-offs. The emphasis on Starship version 3 has delayed uncrewed lunar demonstration missions, originally slated for 2025. SpaceX must now prove orbital refueling by 2026 to stay on track for Artemis 3 in 2027. Critics argue this rapid iteration risks safety, echoing concerns from environmental reviews that halted earlier tests. Proponents, however, see it as innovative agility, allowing SpaceX to incorporate real-world data faster than traditional aerospace firms. In summary, the SpaceX lunar Starship's plan, changes via Starship version 3, represent a bold pivot towards sustainability and scale. By modernizing pads, boosting production, and refining engines, SpaceX is positioning the lunar Starship not just as a moon lander, but as a stepping stone to deeper space. This evolution excites space enthusiasts, but raises questions about integration with NASA's ecosystem, setting the stage for potential conflicts. As the dust settles on SpaceX's audacious pivot to Starship version 3, a seismic shift that promises to redefine lunar exploration, NASA finds itself teetering on the edge of a cosmic cliff. The lunar Starship, once hailed as the savior of America's return to the moon, now embodies a high-wire act of innovation versus reliability. With Artemis 3's 2027 deadline looming like a ticking bomb, how will NASA navigate this massive plan change? The stakes couldn't be higher. A triumphant lunar landing could cement U.S. dominance in space, but a single misstep might hand the moon to rivals like China, whose own lunar ambitions are accelerating at breakneck speed. Elon Musk's starbase in Boca Chica, Texas, a sprawling fortress of steel and ambition, where cranes tower like giants and prototypes rise from the ashes of explosive tests. The transition to Starship version 3 isn't just an upgrade, it's a revolution. Enhanced Raptor engines roar with unprecedented power. Stretched fuel tanks gulp down propellant like never before, and new structural reinforcements turn the lunar Starship into a beast capable of surviving the brutal void. But this overhaul, while exhilarating, injects chaos into NASA's meticulously planned Artemis program. SpaceX's lunar Starship must master orbital refueling, a feat never attempted on this scale, requiring a fleet of tanker ships to rendezvous in orbit, transferring cryogenic fuels in zero gravity without a hitch. One leak, one misalignment, and the entire mission implodes. The drama intensifies when you zoom in on the friction between SpaceX and NASA. Elon Musk, the maverick billionaire with Mars in his sights, has openly dismissed lunar missions as mere distractions from his red planet dreams. Yet, NASA's $2.9 billion Human Landing System contract binds him to deliver. Enter Sean Duffy, NASA's acting administrator, whose recent barbs have ignited a firestorm. Duffy's blunt assessment that SpaceX is falling behind and his threat to reopen the contract to competitors like Blue Origin sent shockwaves through the industry. Musk fired back on X, dubbing him Sean Dummy and accusing him of sabotaging NASA's future. Is this just billionaire bravado, or a genuine rift that could derail humanity's moonshot? Behind the headlines, NASA's dependency on SpaceX is a double-edged sword, sharpened by years of fruitful yet fraught collaboration. SpaceX's Crew Dragon has flawlessly shuttled astronauts to the ISS 10 times since 2020, outshining Boeing's beleaguered Starliner, which still struggles to complete a simple round trip. Cargo missions under commercial resupply services have been equally stellar, delivering over 30 payloads with clockwork precision. NASA's $4.93 billion investment in commercial crew has paid off handsomely, providing routine access to space that the space shuttle could only dream of. But here's the plot twist. SpaceX doesn't need NASA anymore, with projected 2025 revenues soaring to $15.5 billion, eclipsing NASA's entire budget, fueled by Starlink's 7 million subscribers across 150 countries. Musk's empire is financially untethered. This independence fuels his obsession, a self-sustaining Mars colony by 2050, where the lunar Starship serves as a mere rehearsal. The plan changes amplify this tension. Demolishing Pad 1 at Starbase, a relic of early Starship tests, and reconfiguring the tank farm to support dual pads symbolize SpaceX's relentless forward march. Pad 2's upgrades, armored launch mounts, deluge systems venting like a dragon's breath, and mysterious bunkers shielding sensitive gear promise minimal damage from Starship version 3's 35-engine Fury. Yet, delays in these constructions, speculated to stem from crew reallocations to Massey's test stand, echo broader concerns. Will Ship 39's cryo tests in late November or early December reveal flaws that push timelines further? And what of the enigmatic pipes in Pad 2's staging area? Is there for a deluge system enabling off-pad catches? It could revolutionize reusability, sparing the pad from fiery mishaps. But if they're cryogenic lines, it hints at even bolder innovations. Either way, these uncertainties keep NASA officials up at night. Compounding the drama is the geopolitical undercurrent. China's Chang'e program is closing in, with plans for a crewed lunar landing by 2030. If SpaceX falters on refueling demos, NASA might miss its window, allowing Beijing to plant its flag first at the lunar South Pole, rich in water ice, crucial for future bases. Duffy's proposal to fold NASA into the Department of Transportation, ostensibly for better oversight of commercial space, smacks of desperation to some, a power grab to others. Critics whisper he's clinging to his interim role, ignoring the president's directive to appoint a permanent head. Musk's deleted tweet threatening to decommission Dragon spacecraft amid a Trump feud underscores the vulnerability. America's space prowess hangs on the whims of eccentric titans. Yet amid the storm, glimmers of hope emerge. SpaceX's absorption of NASA's safety protocols has bred a hybrid vigor, rigorous yet rapid. The Gigabay's rise, a colossal factory poised to mass-produce starships by 2026, could flood the skies with vehicles, making refueling fleets feasible. For the lunar Starship, This means not just meeting Artemis milestones, but exceeding them, potentially enabling sustained moon presence. NASA, for its part, benefits from SpaceX's innovation wave, adopting agile methods that shave years off development. But the question burns: how will NASA deal with it? By doubling down on redundancy, perhaps courting Blue Origin more aggressively despite their delays? Or by tightening the reins on Musk, risking alienation of their star contractor? The lunar starship's fate hangs in the balance. A thrilling saga of ambition clashing with bureaucracy, where one breakthrough could propel us to the stars, or one failure could ground us for years. As the roar of Raptor engines echoes across the Texas plains, the SpaceX lunar starship hurtles toward a crossroads that could either launch humanity into a golden age of exploration or plunge NASA's dreams into an abyss of delays and despair. With version 3's massive plan changes shaking the foundations of the Artemis program, the world watches breathlessly. Will this colossal lander, the largest since Apollo's glory days, conquer the moon's unforgiving craters? Or will internal rifts and external threats unravel it all? The clock is ticking louder than ever, and the cosmos itself seems to hold its breath for the ultimate reckoning. Artemis 3 astronauts, strapped into Orion, gazing at the lunar starship as it descends like a metallic phoenix toward the lunar South Pole. But to get there, SpaceX must orchestrate a symphony of miracles. Orbital refueling, that elusive holy grail, demands precision choreography in the vacuum of space, where a single spark could turn billions of dollars into cosmic debris. Starship version 3's upgrades, from beefed-up tanks to flame-resistant pads, are SpaceX's arsenal against catastrophe. Yet, whispers from Starbase paint a picture of peril. Ship 39's impending cryo tests could expose hidden flaws. Pad 2's bunker delays might leave critical systems exposed. And the Gigabay's skeletal cranes, rising like harbingers of industry, promise production booms. But at what cost if timelines slip? The drama peaks in the NASA SpaceX arena, where alliances teeter on a knife's edge. Elon Musk's Mars fixation clashes with NASA's lunar mandate, creating a powder keg of priorities. What if Duffy's threats materialize, prying the human landing system contract from SpaceX's grasp and handing it to Blue Origin's lumbering New Glenn? Jeff Bezos's empire, years behind but hungry for redemption, lurks in the shadows, ready to pounce. Musk's retorts, laced with venom on X, aren't just words. They're battle cries in a war of egos that could doom America's space supremacy. Remember the Trump-Musk spat? A deleted tweet threatening Dragon's decommissioning was a glimpse into chaos. Now, with revenues from Starlink eclipsing NASA's coffers, SpaceX could walk away, leaving the ISS orphaned and Artemis in ruins. But the storm rages beyond U.S. borders, igniting a global space race that's more thriller than textbook. Japan's JAXA, fresh off the HTV-X1's triumphant launch atop the H3 rocket, eyes the lunar gateway as its next frontier. This sleek cargo hauler, with its 18-month orbital lifespan and CubeSat deployment prowess, isn't just resupply. It's a stealthy ally, potentially ferrying tech to bolster lunar Starship ops. Meanwhile, Astrobotic's Griffin Mission 1 barrels toward a 2026 moonshot. Its 6,000-kilogram behemoth, packed with rovers like Flip, testing dust-battling wheels and night-surviving batteries in the Nobile region's icy hell. No Viper rover? No problem. This zombie project rises anew, but Griffin's success could pressure SpaceX. If a commercial lander nails it first, NASA's faith in Musk wavers. Enter the villains of the piece. China's unyielding advance. By 2030, their taikonauts could claim the South Pole, mining water ice while America dithers. SpaceX's plan changes, while brilliant, amplify the risk. If Starship version 3 falters in refueling trials, the U.S. cedes the high ground, sparking a new Cold War in the stars. Duffy's DOT integration ploy. It's a desperate gambit, blurring lines between bureaucracy and breakthrough, potentially stifling innovation or saving it from Musk's whims. How will NASA cope? By forging redundancies, perhaps partnering with JAXA for hybrid missions, or fast-tracking Blue Origin, or in a twist of fate, by embracing SpaceX's independence, turning dependency into synergy. Yet, amid the turmoil, a heroic narrative emerges. The lunar Starship isn't just metal and methane. It's humanity's ticket to multiplanetary life. By 2026, Gigabay's hum could produce fleets, slashing costs and enabling moon bases that fuel Mars voyages. Picture it: rovers scouting resources, astronauts planting flags, all powered by Starship version 3's might. Success here doesn't just fulfill contracts, it ignites imaginations, drawing billions into the fold. Failure: a spectacular explosion, literal or figurative, that echoes through history, reminding us that space is no place for the faint-hearted. In this cosmic showdown, the lunar Starship's fate will define an era. Will NASA and SpaceX bridge their chasm, turning plan changes into triumphs? Or will egos and errors scatter our lunar ambitions to the solar winds? The stars await our verdict. Boldly go, or forever regret.